Round 15, Nashville, Tennessee's Nissan Stadium, the site for Monster Energy AMA Supercross, part of the SuperMotocross World Championship. And what a race it was. Titles on the line and big collisions on the course. In the end, it's Hunter Lawrence that walks away with a 250 East title.
Yeah, Hunter finally got it. He beat his brother on that one, getting it before Jet, but Hunter got it what he always dreamed of.
Congratulations, Hunter Lawrence. Incredible feat that you did, my man. The last 2 years have been tough. You earned it.
And Chase Sexton gets the win in the 450 as Eli Tomac maybe pumped the brakes just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 out of 3 for Chase, so he's going in the right direction.
He's on the roll. Can he win out?
Post-race show, SMX Insider from Nissan Stadium, Nashville, Tennessee. Hello, everybody. Todd Harris alongside Ricky Carmichael and James Stewart. Guys, absolutely exhausted. Didn't race at all, but watching these guys fight, Ricky, may have been one of the toughest tracks all year.
Well, this track was really, really tough. It had no wiggle room. It would jump up and bite you, and these guys had their hands full today. A bunch of guys crashing, going down, hated to see it, and I wasn't expecting that coming in here to Nashville today.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like you said, a lot of people got bitten today for sure, and hopefully guys like Cooper Webb, Justin Barsha, they are okay. It was a big championship point swing for Eli, considering with Cooper being out, but yeah, it ain't over until it's over, Todd.
That's why we race.
That's why you guys say it's the most unpredictable sport. You never know what's going to happen, and that will all play out. Obviously today, the highlights we'll bring to you, plus we've got Denver coming up next week, and then the finale in Salt Lake City. So let's take a look at some highlights and show you what went down here in Nashville, Tennessee. Wow, what an amazing showdown. The best in the world, and I tell you, this guy is so emblematic of what happens when you put in the hard work. Hunter Lawrence comes over here, didn't go right away his way the first time around, Ricky, but now he's turned it on.
Well, it didn't, but he was in seasoned fashion. Look at that. He flinches on the gate and still gets the whole shot. But, James, you were wondering how he was going to handle it mentally. How do you grade it?
An A++, better than what I got in school, for sure. The kid rode great, and he had some battles with Jordan Smith making an inside pass, but of course, just cool, calm, collective, just like what he did off that start. He was able to let Jordan make a mistake and get around him, and then you got Joe Shimoda getting around Jeremy Martin here. Joe rode pretty good.
Yeah, Joe did. He rode good all day long, and he rode good at his first race back in Atlanta. And listen, this is a guy that can win. He's super, super fast. Even though he sat out with an injury most of the year, he was come back and show that he's still got it.
Yeah, here's the mistake from Jordan Smith right there going off the track. But a good recovery, in pass, he would turn that mistake into another one, but he was able to recover for a third place. But this man is the man of the hour right here, Todd.
No question about it. Hunter Lawrence, guys, did everything right, just seemed to put himself in, and that was the sign. Bring it home, which he did. Already celebrating before he even gets to the finish line. All he had to do was finish in the top 20 with his brother watching. The Lawrences could be celebrating back-to-back weekends.
Donuts for everyone.
Well, and you listen to him on his podium speech. Right. He never even dreamed of being a regional Supercross champion. That's how far-fetched it was, and there he is. Look at the emotion. Great job.
250 East champion in 2023 is Hunter Lawrence. As we take a look at the results here from Nashville, Lawrence, Shimoda, and Jordan Smith, top 3. Hayden Deegan, Max Anstey, Jeremy Martin, Tom Vial had a good run as well. Chris Blows, Miller Park, and Luke Neese.
Henry Miller, Cullen Park, Luke Neese. Great job. You guys have been stacking them these last few rounds. Great job.
But it's Hunter Lawrence that gets the win. He takes the title as 250 East champion.
Wins round 1. And the inside move from Hunter Lawrence. He blocks it, he gets it, and wins in Tampa. And it's 4th win on the season. Hunter Lawrence winning in Indy.
Hunter Lawrence wins the 250 main event in Detroit.
Give the victory to Hunter Lawrence in Atlanta.
I'm with the champ, and I'm with Mike Pelletier of the American Motorcycle. Hunter, congratulations. When you came off the track, everybody rushed to you. They all wanted to talk to you, but now it's your turn to talk, to thank the fans, the friends, the family that you've made here in the US, in Europe, back home in Australia. Hunter Lawrence, you're a champion, and it's your turn to talk.
I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Everyone that is with me now was with me when I was at my lowest of lows, so this is incredible. I can't say I ever dreamed of this as a kid because I didn't know this was possible, so I'm choked up. This is just surreal. This weekend's been incredible. Perfect day. I just want to celebrate this with everyone I love and care, my whole team, everyone. This means the world.
And you win the title, and you also win the race. Take me through that main event. Was there a plan in place, or was it just see what happens because it ultimately worked out perfectly?
Yeah, I wanted to win this weekend so bad with everything that was going on, and Jordan got me in the start, and I was just sitting behind him, and then made a mistake, and I got him, and then just navigate the lappers, but just kept focused until last time through the whoops, and then I kind of let it out. I couldn't mess it up too bad from there to the finish line, so a little early celebration.
Congratulations, Hunter Lawrence. You're a Supercross champion.
And that he is, a Supercross champion, and you hear the emotions from him. I know it's an individual sport, and he's out there by himself, but there's a lot of people that those emotions are for right there, from his family, his dad, and having his brother here, and having an opportunity to possibly win his next week. I know it's a special moment for Hunter.
Oh, absolutely. And nothing sweeter than your first one, James. You know that one. Those memories that'll last a lifetime.
56 points clear of second place in Hayden Deegan as he leaves Nashville. Max Anstey in third, 58 points back. So, guys, let's spin forward. Obviously, next weekend it'll be an emotional one as well, as his brother Jet Lawrence tries to go for a title 250 West in Denver, Colorado, and then the big showdown in Salt Lake City to wrap things up. Ricky, put into perspective what Hunter did, and then spin it forward. What's next for him?
Well, what he did was amazing. He was able to turn those 2 years around. We've been talking about it a lot. He's had injuries. He's faced those, and he resurrected himself. He stuck with it. He never gave up. I mean, even off track, dieting issues, fitness issues. He turns it around. He becomes a regional 250 Supercross champ. Now, I expect a lot of that. I feel like the Lawrence brothers in general are those guys, once they learn how to do something, they keep doing it and doing it and do it. Now, we look forward to your question about next week. Jet's in the similar situation, right. James, right?
Yeah,
next weekend.
Absolutely. And it's going back to Hunter, it's weird watching him, how dominant he is and how good he has been this year. Right. To look 2 years ago, or even over a year, that he had that many struggles, and it just shows how much talent the kid has always had. But just putting it together, that mental side of racing is what he's overcome. And congratulations, Hunter Lawrence. It's Donut Man Jet Lawrence time next time.
Next week it's Denver, Colorado, and it'll be Jet Lawrence's turn to wrap up a title 250 West. And there you see what's on the cards for the two brothers. I'll tell you what, the Lawrence family, it couldn't happen to nicer people. Ricky, you've talked about it many times of what they sacrificed. They were all in on their sons.
Well, they were, and that's what I respect about that family more than anything. It was all about racing, and I couldn't imagine selling everything you had, living in Australia, then going to Europe, having no money, living basically week to week. It's fascinating what they've been able to overcome. So you just got to think of those emotions, and I feel like there's an element there. They're racing for their family, and I don't know how much they're racing for themselves, but more their family.
Now, after the race, Will Christian caught up with Lars, got his thoughts for Honda HRC.
And I've got Lars Lindstrom, team manager from Honda HRC, with me now. Lars, obviously a big night for you and Hunter Lawrence. We knew this has been coming for a while. We didn't know what night he was going to get this done, but he's got it done now. And we tried to tell his story during the broadcast there. It's been a long journey for Hunter. He's lived in the shadow of his brother Jet there for a while. So just from the team perspective, how proud are you of him, how far he's come, and now he's a champion?
Yeah, incredibly proud. The amount of struggle that he had in the beginning in Supercross, he came from Europe with some injuries and some things like that, and then to learn Supercross, at an age when most guys have probably already done a lot. He didn't get to do the Futures program or anything like that, so he had to learn whoops especially, which is always the toughest thing for an amateur to come up, or not to call him an amateur, but somebody coming up and riding Supercross for the first time. And it bit him a few times, set him back a long ways. And then Jed, of course, just took off. And so he stuck with it and, really persevered on all of those injuries and everything, and just kind of kept working. And with him and his dad and Jed and everything, it's awesome for the team and to be along for the ride for him to get to this point, which I can't believe that at the level that he's at right now. It's unreal.
You say that, you say you can't believe it, but to a certain respect, you must have seen this coming. You knew he was capable of it, and those setbacks there were not necessarily all through any fault of his. So at what point did you realize this is going to happen for Hunter? This is all going to click into place?
Probably in the 2021 season. He came into that season still kind of nursing a shoulder surgery that was still healing, and he was able to just every week get a little better and a little better, and then he won at Arlington, and then after that it just kind of kept going this way. He didn't really have any nagging injuries. He had great outdoor seasons, and he just never went backwards, and the progression has just been really steady, and to the point where he's now, where he's dominating, and he was the fastest rider today in qualifying, over 450s and everything. So it's just really, really cool to see, and I'm super happy and proud of him.
Now he's a 250 champion. Congratulations to him, and of course, congratulations to you and the whole team too, Lars. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Saturday is not the only day for Supercross. Join Ricky Carmichael and Ryan Villapoto as they break down the SuperMotocross action each week on Title 24. You can find it on Peacock and the Motorsports on the NBC YouTube channel, wherever you get your podcast. Also, James Stewart's breaks down the action each week on his Bubba's World podcast. Get the fastest man on the planet's unique take on his YouTube channel. And on Thursday, join Jason Wygant, Daniel Blair, and Clint Fowler as the SMX Insiders take a deep dive into the sport you love with a breakdown of the race, news of the day, and Fowler's facts. Go to supermotocross.com or the SMX Insider Hub on Peacock for the show. Wow, so that's 250 East. Congratulations once again to Hunter Lawrence. We turn our attention, guys, now to 450. And this was the premier class coming in. Of course, Eli Tomac had the lead, but could you have imagined, James, I'll start with you, what transpired throughout the day?
Honestly, it was a crazy day of racing. It started off with having practice early this morning, getting here, and we knew Cooper had to do something. We talked about during the show before.
Right.
Look, he had to beat Eli some way in form. Eli's going home, just being more natural. So I expected something to happen. I didn't expect that to happen, but looking at the track the way it is. It was difficult for all those guys.
RC, you always talk about this sport is so crazy. Anything can happen. Don't count it till it's done. Exactly what happened today.
Yeah, mind explosion from that first 450 heat race. And it was crazy. I mean, just a small mistake by Cooper Webb turned into absolute pandemonium, devastation on his behalf. It was a complete plot twist, and I wasn't expecting that. So from us up here in the booth, I'm like, okay, now the whole dynamic shifts from that point on, and you hate to see that. And then Justin Barcia, he took a nasty, nasty crash on that dragon back. I mean, this track was jumping up and biting people. Jason Anderson is lucky that he was able to walk away. He took a couple hard crashes, one in practice. He goes over the handlebars in the whoop section, and then he cross ruts in his heat race. We saw that. So, man, it certainly has changed things for this championship.
Well, let's just don't hear about it. Let's take a look at it. Here are the highlights, 450. Let's start with heat number 1 here from Nashville, Tennessee's Nissan Stadium, and this was the moment. First lap, Cooper Webb goes down. Oh! Yeah, Adam Cianciarulo, and can I point out quickly, or you guys point out, Adam Cianciarulo is not to blame for this. No. He had nowhere to go.
No, absolutely not. And Adam came up to him and said sorry, because he's been in that position. As a matter of fact, he was there last weekend with Justin Barcia. So it was just a racing incident. But what you didn't see before that all happened was Cooper making a pass on Eli.
Right.
And he was doing what I expected him to do, was, hey, get up, get aggressive. And, unfortunately, it went sideways for him.
Yeah.
Eli Tomac gets a great jump off the line, and man, I'll tell you what.
Look at that form.
Yeah.
He has such good form leaving the gate. It's just like he's locked in. He's one with the motorcycle.
Yeah, and what's even more impressive, this guy used to struggle with starts, years past. He used to struggle in a position, and this is Justin Barcia again, slammed to the ground right there. It's definitely Bam Bam, and oh man, I hope he's all right.
Justin Barcia unable to finish the race as he's taken off. Winner of last week's race, in New Jersey. As the racing goes on, it was pretty clear that
and I'm going to tell you what, that was when Ken Roxon gets by Justin Hill for third, but Ken got a little help, but because of the lappers. The lappers were tough because of the track here today. They just couldn't get out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with the lappers, they're like, dude, what do you want me to do? I'm trying to survive as well. So, but you see right here, Chase making a pass and Eli backing off. Eli did exactly what he needed to do. It's a win for him. It's a win for Chase Sexton. And, you know, hopefully he can continue that. 12 seconds. That's a nice pit board to get right there.
Great gains for Chase Sexton.
Yep.
I mean, this was a tough racetrack that jump up and bite you, like we already talked about. He's been struggling with that bike all year. It's been no secret. He rode superbly today.
how great is it for him, James, looking forward to the last two events? He may not be able to get the title, but to be able to exercise those demons of, oh, he's out in front, he's going to throw this one away. He stayed out in front, kept the bike upright.
Yeah, it's important for him, and not only just for this, it's important for him moving in a few weeks when we go outside on there. And so it's all building up to that playoff, but Chase Sexton was #1 today.
Here are the results. Chase Sexton gets the win. Eli Tomac pads his lead. He is in second place. Ken Roxon in third. Good run for Colt Nichols in the top 5. Justin Hill top 5 with his brother finishing in 10th. So, Ricky, a lot of guys taking the opportunity to move up and show what they've learned throughout the season.
Right, and some guys probably moving up in the SMX playoff situation as well. So we're going to keep our eye on that as we wind up the Supercross portion.
After the race, Will Christian gets the comments from the winner.
And what a win it was, Todd. Thank you very much. Congratulations to you, Chase. We saw you fist pumping there before you'd even crossed the finish line. Clearly, this one meant a lot to you. It's a tough track out there. We obviously saw a few guys go out today. So what did you take away from this race to move forward here?
I just wanted to be consistent and hit my marks. Didn't get the best start, but I made my way up and saw Eli out front and just wanted to click as many good laps off and see if I could get close. And with the track being this kind of sketchy, it's hard to be out front the whole time. And for me, it allowed me to kind of see some different lines. And, man, that was a tough track, but I felt super smooth, really locked in, and I feel like I'm making big strides. So this one means a lot, and any win means a lot in this class. So stoked on today, and got to keep it rolling.
We can see it from the smile. Congratulations, Chase. Enjoy the win.
So now everyone wants to know, what do the points look like? Well, here you go. Chase Sexton now moves into second place, 18 points back of Eli Tomac. Cooper Webb still waiting for a result from what happened to him. Into the hospital now. He's 34 points down. We're just hoping he's going to be okay. Kenny Roxon in fourth. Justin Barsha also leaving with the Alpine Stars Medical Group in fifth. Wow, what a just brutal, brutal day for a lot of top flight riders, Ricky. That's the nature of the sport.
Unfortunately, it is, and what happened today, especially with Cooper Webb, I don't ever think like things like that are going to happen to a guy like Cooper Webb, and it did, and it happened so fast. When we talked about it, James talked about it. I mean, AC didn't mean to do that. I mean, it's so close. He exited the corner, and he ran into him. And unfortunately, when you go down, that you subject yourself to that. And I think he just got a little high. He was giving Eli a little bit of room, and he just got over the rut. The rest was history. James, you can walk it through us, but
yeah, he makes an aggressive pass on Eli, and Eli said he was running in a little deep to let him know. And then Cooper gets up there to Hayball. The track goes away from him, and AC can't see him. He hits him in the back, and it's the worst part for Cooper. He can't even brace himself, so he was not expecting that, and I think that's what that hit was. So at the end of the day, I was glad to see him actually kind of move around. We saw him some photos, so maybe hopefully it's not as bad as it looked at first. But the crazy part is we have both the motions, and you see Cooper Webb and the injuries and some of these guys getting hurt, but then you watch Hunter Lawrence, and that's why we do that stuff for. And that's why when you do win these championships, it's so much emotions into it, because Hunter's been in that same position many a times. And so for him to exercise those demons and get back up, that's why you do it.
That's right.
Well, Daniel Blair with more on the track. We talk about the track being a center, a focus of this, and there were a lot of very tricky sections, but he's got one in particular. Daniel.
Well, this track was brutal today, and it obviously played a role for everybody, starting with the first heat race all the way through that 450 main event, with it being slick and challenging. And got to remember, the weather was coming in, and even came in a little bit today in the afternoon, so you're thinking maybe it's going to be a mud race. But then it went away. The sun came out, and it got dry. I want to show you the Dragon's back. Take a look at this thing, and remember, this is an uphill whoop section. So we talk every week about how tough it is to blitz through the whoops with the edges and all the cups and the ledges. This one is going uphill, and the most cupped out one is the very top one, because that's the one they're getting that final drive off the double. So imagine coming around this corner wide open, having to commit to an uphill whoop section, hitting the hardest one at the top. Oh, and then you have the whoop section actually after that. So we saw the big crash from Justin Barcia. It just got so dry, so slick and cupped out that they started losing traction up the top. And if you didn't catch the top one just right, pitch you over the bars. So tough break for Justin Barcia. And for a lot of the guys that had trouble on this all day, even going back to qualifying. But tough set, and with the sun coming out and the conditions, made it that much more difficult for the riders today. So brutal track, but this was the toughest spot.
You know, some crashes are gnarlier than others. That Barcia one was brutal, but you know what? There's a track next week. Biggest thing is elevation. James, we're going to miss you next week, bud. Wish you were coming there. You get the weekend off, but yeah, elevation. James, you've raced in elevation. It ain't always fun because of the horsepower deficit.
Yeah, you got the horsepower. Then you also got the lack of oxygen, which is a big problem for it. You'll hear a lot of for these guys. But back to the traditional Supercross, and I believe the conditions will probably be a little bit like this. You know, where it's slippery. But if I'm Eli Tomac, I'm feeling good. I'm going into elevation where I'm used to, and getting closer and closer to hopefully wrapping up this title.
Yeah, I feel like Eli Tomac has went into championship conservation mode without a doubt, and we're going to elevation. He's grown up in Colorado his whole life, so really, I mean, if barring any issues, and we certainly know that can happen, this is his to lose, and I expect him to bring this thing home to the to Salt Lake, excuse me, but we'll have to tune in to see.
Yep. Let's talk about that track momentarily if we can, Ricky. You and I walked it, I think it was last year, and there's a lot of debris in there, like rocks and just chunks of everything like that.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. I mean, you could get a flat tire. I mean, it could be bad news. Anything could happen.
Yeah, I mean, you could do what Cooper Webb just did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simple
little
as that.
over.
Yeah, a little tip over, nothing, and then next thing you know, things happen. But again, if they stay up and everything's clean, Eli Tomac, he's going to be your champion. But that's why we go racing. And I'm looking forward to watching it. I'll be at home watching you do your thing, and I'll join you afterwards in Salt Lake City.
Speaking of which, we want to tell you how you can watch. Of course, Race Day Live kicks things off. That's 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So we're back to evening racing. That's on Peacock. And then round 16 from Denver, Mile High City, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. And of course, you can see the re-air. If you can't make it on Monday, May 8th, there's the Denver re-air, which takes place at 1 a.m. on CNBC. So that wraps things up from Nashville, Tennessee and Nissan Stadium. Round 15, highs and lows. Wow, big day, big weekend for Honda. Hunter Lawrence wins the 250 East title, and Chase Sexton gets the win in the 450 main, but it's still Eli Tomac on top. So for Will Christian, Daniel Blair, James Still, Ricky Carmichael, our entire crew, I'm Todd Harris saying goodbye from Nashville.